Some in front of these take a seat. If anyone feels more comfortable to sit on chairs, we do have foldable chairs there. We can get some chairs for you. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Please be seated. So everyone welcome. So let's warmly welcome His Honorable Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Family here for the first time. His Honorable Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj, who direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he's the one who actually first came to North Carolina and established this entire new Gurukha. So all glories to Maharaj. He is actually the reason we are all here. So we offer our obeisances to His Honorable Bir Krishna Goswami. So Maharaj will be giving the talk today. So immediately after announcements, we'll have a talk by His Honorable. Sorry, forgive my voice. So we'd like to thank the devotees who have sponsored the feast today. So today's feast is sponsored by Hemant Prabhu, Kopika Mataji, Navid and Viraj. And this is for Hemant Prabhu's birthday. I will thank Hemant Prabhu for sponsoring the feast. And let's pray for him on the occasion of his birthday. Let's pray to Shri Radha Golokananda that they shower their choicest blessings on Hemant Prabhu. Let's loudly chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Also, today's feast is sponsored by Navneet Prabhu and Nishtha Mataji, who's sitting behind. So just before the Aarti, we actually did a yajna for Mataji for protection for her and the baby in her womb. So she's soon expected. So before this is a time when we actually perform this yajna as a protection and for Mataji and seeking blessings from Shri Shri Radha Golokananda. Also, a part of this ceremony is we request, especially married women, to actually give her blessings, or pray for her. So we have, and we sprinkle, we have Radhakund water right here, you see in the Ashman cup. So after the class, if you would like to go, you can go and sprinkle water on her womb and on her, and shower the blessings or offer prayers to her. Thank you. And also today's Aarti is sponsored by Arjun Abhimanyu Prabhu. He's not here. So I think in the email there was slightly miscommunication. We actually referred to a different Arjun, but it is actually Arjun Abhimanyu's birthday. So he sponsored the Aarti. So I'd like to wish him on his birthday. So let's loudly chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. So as announced, we'll have a talk now by His Honorable Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And today also at 5:45, we are going to have a graduation ceremony for the students of our local Gurukul, the BKG Academy. So immediately after class, we'll have a short graduation ceremony. And after at 6 p.m., we'll have dinner prasadam. Okay, thank you all for coming. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. Is that going to fit? Let's see. One time he gave me a garland that didn't fit, so this one fit. So today we're going to do something a little special. We're going to have a presentation about preaching that's going on in the Fiji Islands. And for those of you who don't know, I spend a lot of time on the Fiji Islands. It's sort of become one of my projects. And you're all wondering where I go when I disappear to the Fiji Islands, if I'm surfing the whole time or doing something fun. And you'll see what we do. So all your suspicions will be allayed at that particular point. So, but it's very exciting to see how Krishna consciousness is expanding dramatically. Actually, Krishna consciousness is expanding dramatically everywhere in the world. I mean, I was just reading today that the largest Indian temple is now in the United States is now in Cary. Did you know that? The largest one has just been finished. So really exciting. Really, really exciting. And there can be direct flights to India pretty soon from Raleigh, Durham. Wow. Pretty good. Direct flights. Hopefully it'll be on United Airlines. No other airlines. Anyway. So let's chant a little bit Jai Radha Madhava, and after this presentation, we'll have the graduation and appreciation for many of the students at the Gurukula. Gurukula means the place of the Guru. So, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvipacharya also Tada Satashi Shimad. His Divine Grace Savaya Chalanad Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nandakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Brent Say Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Machuranam Ki Jai. Jagadada Swami Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Shrimati Lasadevi Ki Jai. Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Tutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namni Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachani Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschadesh Tarni So Magana Timadanda Shagalanjana Shlakya Chakshu So we'll try to go through rather quickly. This is a presentation that's in progress right now because I'm putting this together for the GBC. But I thought it would be interesting to show some of you, or everyone here, what we do in Fiji, which is major outreach preaching of Krishna consciousness. I first started going to Fiji in 1999. And was given the responsibility of being GBC of Fiji in about the year 2000, 2001. And I was working closely with His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who developed Fiji previous to that, and he passed away, I think in 2001, 2002. So this is the present state in Fiji. There's a lot of exciting things happening. I don't know how much time we'll have to tell it all. But here's a map. Everybody can see the map? So you see the little circles around the different cities there? Not cities, they're actually towns. Those are all temples. And most of those places have Radha Krishna deities. And so the total population of Fiji, not devotee population, is 936,000. So you may say that's a tiny little place, but you'll hear we have 10,000 members of ISKCON there, probably more. Approximately 2,000 initiated devotees. It's probably, percentage-wise, probably the highest of anywhere in the world as far as ISKCON devotees, in terms of the total population. And there's over 1,000 Fiji devotees serving in different temples around the world, including this temple. We have some Fiji devotees here. And but mainly in Australia and New Zealand, I would say most of the deity worship is being done by the Fiji devotees, and the organization of the temples is being done by the Fiji devotees in Australia and New Zealand. It's pretty amazing. So it's been very important, yatra. And so, of course, that's not important. That's just statistics of the country. So we're going to start visiting some of the temples. First temple is the temple established by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada was on the planet, Prabhupada said that Kaliya, the serpent Kaliya, who Krishna banished from Vrindavan, took shelter in Fiji. So Prabhupada instructed us to make the Krishna Kaliya deity. So we'll see that deity. So this is where, you can see that map, you see that little red line there. That's called Lotoka. That's the first city that Prabhupada established a temple in. And here is Krishna Kaliya. Very beautiful deities. You see Krishna dancing on the heads of the Kaliya serpents. And you have the Nagapatnis. Everybody knows what a Nagapatni is? Means there's snake wives, snake ladies, who are the wives of Kaliya, surrounding Krishna and Kaliya also. And we have the deities of Radha Govinda there, and Shri Gaurnitai, Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Many programs. Here you see a picture of Dinabandhu Prabhu, who visited us recently, and enlivened all the devotees talking about Vrindavan Katha. And here he is taking prasadam. Fiji is famous for prasadam. See how happy he is? When I first went there, I was astounded at how much the devotees like to cook and feed guests. A very nice culture of hospitality. So I've had some meals, especially when it was my Vyas Puja one year. They made something like 2,000 preparations, all different. And of course I could just take one little infinitesimal speck of each one, or else I wouldn't die. But you see how happy Dinabandhu Prabhu was there. So there's a lot of other programs going on in addition to the deity worship there. There's Vijay, some of you may know him. He's our he's our book distribution minister for ISKCON. And he travels around the world inspiring people to distribute books. And we distribute books to people of all the different cultures there. There's many different cultures and backgrounds and races and religions. And they're all happy to get Srila Prabhupada's books. Many other programs going on in the villages. Devotees go into the villages to preach and to have Harinam. And home programs, more village preaching. It's a very rustic area of Fiji. Once you leave the towns, there's not really cities. Actually, Suva would be considered, which is the capital, would be considered the only city. But it's quite rustic everywhere. And the devotees are very happy doing Harinam and giving prasadam and books out to everybody that they meet. Well, there's Vijay again, giving books. See him live and all the devotees distributing more books. And we also have a Gurukul there. Here's the kids at the Gurukul. And we do very interesting plays. And if you don't recognize this character here, that's Ravan. And the girls were shooting the bow and arrow, shooting the arrow at Ravan. Next we have the Nandi Yatra. Nandi is pronounced Nandi actually, which is right next to Lotoka. And that's right here. You can see that on the map. And Nandi Yatra is a rather new yatra, but we have hundreds of devotees there. And we have the deities of Jagannath, Baladeva, Subhadra, Maharani. And these deities are taken here. It's an interesting scenario because we have no temple in Nandi, but it's one of our largest yatras. So we have many deities that are being taken care of in people's homes. And it's very effective as far as the efficiency of reaching Krishna consciousness. So there's the Jagannath deities, that are yatra deities, and the Radha Krishna deities. And we also have Gaurnitai, and we use these deities for different festivals. So we have many programs going on every day, practically speaking. Harinam, Sankirtan, house-to-house programs, free food distribution, school programs. We have a restaurant there, and several Rath Yatra festivals. So the devotees there have 2 buses, and they take these buses, devotees in the buses, to go to the neighboring towns and villages and have Harinam and Rath Yatras. And many, many house-to-house programs. I think Fiji has more home programs than practically anywhere I've ever been. And so the devotees preach the glories of the holy name. In addition, we do a lot of free food distribution. Devotees there love to cook, and they cook over these giant pots. Some of the pots are so big you could actually climb into the pot. Guess how big the pots are there. And distributing quite a bit of prasadam. Actually, every week I think we distribute about 500 plates of prasadam. 2,000, sorry, I got the number wrong. Every Saturday we feed 2,000 people at the markets. in Nandi, Lotaka, and Talwa, which is another city nearby, another town nearby. And made amazing, 2,000 people every week. Isn't it? It's all congregation based. There's not a single brahmachari there. Not a single, everybody works the job. In fact, this person you see in the lower circle, his name is Rasa Bihari. He's our leader there and preacher, and he's the chief medical officer for that whole area of Fiji. So he supervises all the hospitals. Actually, 3 of the chief medical officers for Fiji, there's 5 in total for the country, are devotees, initiated devotees. In addition to the chief medical officers for the country, in other words, they supervise all the hospitals, all the doctors. If there's a breakout of disease, they're in charge. He has a big staff, like 30, 40 people work under him. And the person in charge of the electrical department for the whole country is our devotee too, initiated devotee. We have people in the government, members of parliament, all very, very influential. We'll show you pictures of that a little later. And so this is more pictures of food distribution at the schools, and our Hare Krishna restaurant, which is very nice prasad in there, really clean and nice, is in Nandi, which is the main tourist town of the whole country. The country is supported mainly by tourism. It used to be supported financially by the sugarcane industry, but people really don't want to work at the sugarcane fields anymore. Like here in America, people become very lazy, so also in Fiji, people become very lazy. So there's a lot of tourism there. Here are some of our Rath Yatra festivals. We have several a year just in Nandi, one town. And devotees are always very happy. So in Nandi, there's 300 devotees in the yatra, and 200 of those are initiated. We have about 1,000 congregational devotees just in Nandi alone. And many of them have been inspired by the online preaching that they're doing there, the social media pages. This year, as you see here, we had one initiation ceremony where 40 devotees got initiated. Simultaneously, they had 40 yagya kunds going on simultaneously. 4 yagya kunds going on at the same time in Nandi. It's 40 devotees at one time. Quite a bit of karma. So, next we go to a place called Singatoka, which is, we're following this line here from Lotaka to Nandi, to Singatoka, to Suva, to Nusori, and then we go overseas here to the second island. And so this is the temple in Singatoka. It's a pretty new temple. And this temple is a very unique situation, not just the building itself. It's right in the middle of the town, overlooks the whole city. And this temple is run by an all-ladies crew, Vaishnavis. And don't tell anyone, but this is the first time I had the ladies do a fire sacrifice during initiation. Because as you probably know, I'm pretty liberal. And the deities there. These are the main deities there. And the temple is, it's amazing. Let's take a picture to see the main deities there. And then beautiful Radha Krishna deities. The temple is elaborately decorated, and it's like a museum inside the temple. Like they have depicted the Damodar pastimes with, I guess you call them dolls, a museum, and Mother Yashoda running after Krishna, tying Krishna. Of course, the deities are called Radha Damodar, and here's the story of Vanigriva and Nalakuvara, and the monkeys too. So they had monthly Harinam and free prasadam distributions. A group of ladies who run this temple. Here's all the temple devotees. You see there's one token man there in the back. Oh, two, maybe two. And very enthusiastic. They basically, two of the ladies sponsored this with their own money. One of them, this devotee here, is a doctor. And from the money she made being a doctor and helping people, she built the temple. And other people gave donations. And His Holiness Vedavyas Priya Maharaj, who also initiates devotees there, he gave quite a large donation to this temple and helps with the maintenance and the development of the temple. Book distribution, a lot of book distribution being done there. Preaching at the universities and schools in the area. And then we get to Suva, which is the main temple, the biggest temple. And the temple room was quite big. I think the temple room itself must be about 8,000 square feet. Some devotees here, Mother Krishna Priya was there for the opening. She was on the altar worshiping Sita, Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. What? You dress the Lita for Shabbat? Yeah, they never let me dress the deities there. So this is Suva, which is the capital city. And this is just a description of the deity installation. Here I am, and I think it's Bhakti Chur Maharaj bathing and getting the deities ready for installation. This is Sri Sri Gauranatai, Prabhupada, and Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, the main deities. And then Radhagalok Bihari, and Lalita and Vishaka. And then Sita Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. This is one of the few Hanuman deities that has a wig. I insisted they put a wig on Hanuman because I didn't want him to be bald. So, the deities again. And they have many Rath Yatras in Suva also, Rath Yatra ceremonies. They do a lot of charity work during, there's many floods and hurricanes in Fiji. So the devotees of Suva, they gather donations to cook vegetarian, healthy meals for everyone. And the temple provides full course lunch every day for free to all guests. On an average, 200 to 300 guests come every Sunday for the, what we call the Love Feast or Sunday Feast. And they distribute Srila Prabhupada's books during Harinam and in school programs. Here you see some pictures of Harinam. On a weekly basis, sweet packages are given to people for free. We have a Sunday school, which many children attend. And so many different festivals in the temple, just like we have here in New Goloka. Different programs like senior devotee care. One of the devotees there, her name is Bhagavati Mataji, and she is the wife of Vasudev, who is one of the founders of Fiji ISKCON. And Vasudev since then has passed away, and so his wife is taken care of by the devotees. So we take care of many senior devotees, many senior ladies there. We distribute many books. We have this Gita Jayanti programs. We participate in the worldwide ISKCON Live to Give campaign, which is the Bhadra Purnima. I think Dichinny Ryan Guru will know that. And look how many we did in Fiji. Fiji is a very small place. We did 633 Bhagavad Gitas during the Live to Give. And actually we were almost at the same level that Australia was. If you looked at the map of the whole world, we were right up there as far as percentage-wise. And I encourage the devotees to distribute a lot of books. We distribute in the schools, we distribute in the villages, everywhere, to everyone. We don't discriminate, race, religion. Primary religion there, of course, is Methodists. Because the native Fijians are mostly Methodists and some Seventh-day Adventists and others. But you see the devotees going to these homes. Some of the homes are quite primitive, and the people are very happy to receive Srila Prabhupada's books. In addition, we have this program called the Spiritual Science Study Center for Higher Education and Training, in which the disciple course is taught. It's designed to, as mentioned here in this poster, for new devotees preparing to take initiation, but it's also recommended for leaders, preachers, counselors, and educators in ISKCON to train people up. And we get quite an attendance once or twice a week of these courses. Different businessmen have turned over their halls in different parts of the city, we're talking about Suva now, so that we can conduct these classes. You see everybody sitting like ladies and gentlemen at desks and chairs, and this is one of the classes here. Quite a few people attending these classes, either getting ready for initiation or learning how to preach Krishna consciousness. Another view of the classes, another view of the classes. And there's Vijay again, helping us distribute books in Suva. And this was at the university. There's the University of South Pacific, which is the main university for all the countries in that part of the world. Of course, not New Zealand or Australia, but all the small island countries. They send their young people to the University of South Pacific. Devotees there distributing. And here, one of our leaders is distributing a book to the Prime Minister. Now, I've met the Prime Ministers of this country, the finance ministers, I mean, so many government officials I've met. I was just meeting the head of the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation, because he wants to get in touch with Tulsi Gabbard and do you know Tulsi Gabbard? Yeah, do an interview with her. So we had a nice talk with him. So this is the Prime Minister on the right, obviously, of Fiji, receiving some of Srila Prabhupada's books. Here's the finance minister. He's the second in charge of the country, meeting and getting some of Prabhupada's books, some school programs that we do. This is all in the Suva area, which is the capital. This particular devotee does preaching to teachers. These are teachers you see there, and he's doing preaching to them. Many, many, many home programs we do there. Then close to Suva, there's another city called Nassori. You see this? You see where Nassori is. It's like very close to, but we have another temple there with the main deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. That's a poster of the picture of the Panchatattva behind, where we do massive amounts of food distribution, many, many Harinams. See how ecstatic the devotees are. They love Harinam. Many outreach programs. It's another one of our leaders there. His name is Vishwanath. And more Harinams and outreach. Okay, and now we go to another island. And this second island is called Vanulevu. The first island is Vanulevu, the second island is Vanulevu. And this place is called Lambasa. And you see it's on this island here, you gotta fly there, right here. And we have a large congregation in Lambasa. It's called Nityananda Temple. And in this temple we have these beautiful deities, the Radha Vrindavan Chandra. These deities were installed by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And of course, Vyasa-san for his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And so many programs. This hall is filled with hundreds, if not thousands of devotees whenever we have a program there. And they love to dance and chant. It's a giant, I wouldn't say a giant hall, but it's a big hall with a temple, and then there's a second hall that was built recently that's just for cooking prasadam and serving prasadam. There's Sunday Love Feast. The devotees all participate in cooking for the Love Feast. Devotees conducting many preaching programs, prasadam distribution, again, Harinam Sankirtan. Also a Gurukul there. Pretty impressive, all these things going. A little tiny country, 950 something thousand. How many people are there in this area, the Raleigh Triangle area? Triangle area, how many people? Couple of million. And we only have one Hare Krishna temple. Too bad. Here's the happy devotees serving Krishna. And we have so many dramas. There's the story of the Ramayana, and devotees of, there's Hanuman over there, you may recognize. And initiation ceremonies there. A lot of devotees take an initiation there. There's Ravana. No, that's me. Anyway, give an initiation. And preaching programs. Okay. Now the next place, well, actually, this is all right. This is another thing. I have to put this back in order. This is again the Prime Minister taking some books, the Prime Minister taking more books and more certificate from the devotees, and myself meeting with the Finance Minister, who's the second in charge of the government. And every week we do programs at the University of South Pacific, which I mentioned before. There's a Bhagavad Gita sessions, 10 to 15 students attend this, which consists of a mantra meditation session, class in kirtan. There's a Friday night's kirtan program, which we get 10 to 15 students, which is mantra, meditation, kirtan, prasadam, and daily, the timeless wisdom is like something that is sent to university community through the internet. There's around 220 people getting that. And weekly Harinams, this is at the university, or surrounding the university, where we distribute halva and books. And we also participated in the Bhadra and the Live to Give campaign. And here's some of the statistics for that. Then, final yatra we go to is called Savu Savu. Savu Savu is on the second island again. It's right here. Actually, we're going through the slideshow rather quickly, and we didn't be able to do that. And we do preaching programs there. That's me playing the guitar. I know that's hard to believe. And then Dina Bandhu has gone there to help us with preaching of Krishna consciousness. So that's the whole slideshow very quickly going through it. So does anyone have any questions about preaching there? So when I travel to the South Pacific, that's primarily where I'm going. I also go to New Zealand and Australia because that's where we have all of our Fiji devotees who are assisting in temples. So it'd be nice to get some of the Fiji devotees here and help out in New Goloka. So anyone have any questions before we go to the graduation ceremony? Questions or comments? Everyone's so quiet. Aditya Narayan, do you have a question? What's that? Went to Fiji twice. Well, actually, here's the story. I should tell that story. That once upon a time, Vasudev, who I mentioned before, was the founder of ISKCON in Fiji. He heard from his relatives who had seen Prabhupada in Australia that Prabhupada was coming to Australia, but his plane was going to stop in Fiji because previously they didn't have direct flights that would go all the way from America to Australia. So it had to stop in Fiji. So Prabhupada was going to be in the transit lounge. I think you all know what a transit lounge is. So Vasudev, because he was a very important member of the, I guess, the Fiji business community, he was able to talk his way into the transit lounge to see Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was very surprised to see him. And Prabhupada said, the first thing Prabhupada said to him, are there any Radha Krishna temples in Fiji? And Vasudeva said, no, Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, well then build one. And that was practically the extent of his interaction with Prabhupada. But it's just like when Prabhupada got his instruction from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took it as his life and soul. So at that point, Vasudeva started to go out amongst members of the business community and collect donations to build this temple in Lotoka. And so Vasudeva also enlisted his brother, whose name was Bhuvan Mohan, and Vasudeva's wife, of course, Bhagavati, and Bhuvan Mohan's wife, whose name was Gauri. And they all went out and collected the money to purchase the property and build the temple there. And eventually Prabhupada came back a second time, and sort of, he wasn't there for the finishing the temple, but it's sort of the groundbreaking ceremony for the temple. So it was Prabhupada's inspiration. And that, the second time Prabhupada came back, he actually entered into Fiji, apart from the transit lounge. And it was actually Prabhupada's inspiration that was the seed that later developed into the full developed Fiji Yatra. Like I said, there's 10,000 members of ISKCON there, 2,000 initiating devotees, and at least 1,000 more, and most of whom were initiated all around the world serving in yatras. Even everywhere from Seattle, we have a few devotees here, but everywhere from Seattle and some Sacramento, actually I forgot to mention that. Sacramento is one of the favorite, Sacramento, California, of course, is one of the favorite places for Fiji devotees to go. And I visit Sacramento at least once a year, and they've just purchased a new temple there. And they're one of the top book distributing temples in America right now. They have this thing called the Team Yamuna Mai. You've heard of that before? In Sacramento. And Vaisheshika is actually the one who supervises the activities in Sacramento. So that's run to a large extent by the Fiji devotees. And wherever they go, the Fiji devotees are very fixed in Krishna consciousness and loyal. And so it's been a very nice experience for me working with devotees from Fiji. So, it's time, actually. Yeah, one more question.
When you had spoken about it, and when I was in Fiji, I spoke with the different devotees, and the training that the devotees were given by Tamal Krishnash, and what is the proper standard of doing things, and cooking and serving and the deities, and just if you could just speak a little bit about the instrumental role that he played in training the devotees.
Yeah, well, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was known for his strict discipline. He was definitely a disciplinarian. I mean, some of the devotees, jokingly, some of his godbrothers used to, anyway, I won't say what they called, but he was strict. Very, very strict. And the devotees, it's an interesting story, the devotees sometimes would say, "You're too heavy."